Hi, I'm Jason Marzak, Vice President Senior Director here at the Atlantic Council's Adrian R. Latin America Center, and welcome to today's episode of Experts of the Americas, where I'm honored to be joined by the Foreign Minister of Bolivia, Fernando Aramayo. Welcome, Mr. Minister. Great to have you here at the Atlantic Council.
Thank you, Jason. It's a pleasure to be here, and thanks so much for your time.
Thank you. Well, the minister was named to his position by President Rodrigo Paz on November 9th of this year. He previously was the head of economic policy, strategy, and innovation at the UNDP office in Bolivia. Beyond that, he brings over 25 years of experience in economic policy and has led key processes in Bolivia and has lived across the world from the Middle East to the Americas and far beyond. Minister, I want to start with the question of the fact that the president's been in office for a little over a month. You're here now in your first official trip to Washington. What are your most important priorities, and what are you hoping to accomplish as part of this trip?
Well, in fact, this is our first mission to the United States, and we are here to confirm all the agenda that we have agreed in the occasion of the visit of Mr. Fernando in Bolivia a month ago. So we are here to confirm all the agreements to allow us to stabilize our economy, but also to give some socio-political responses to our population in the short term, because as you may know, we are in the middle of a very complex economic, political, and social crisis. So we are here to also have meetings not only with United States institutions, but also with some other organizations to share our foreign policy and to be able to have discussions around what must be part of our new foreign policy. We've also been here to subscribe an agreement to reestablish our diplomatic relationship with Israel. That was a very, very relevant action that we have decided to take in the short term, because we have in the past a lot of collaboration with the state of Israel, and we want to reestablish confidence in Bolivia, reestablishing this kind of relationships with some strategic countries.
Well, congratulations on that. On Tuesday of this week, you had a very excellent meeting with your Israeli counterpart to specifically be able to advance that. I think also for our viewers, it's important to recognize the sea change that your government, that President Paz represents for Bolivia. After nearly 2 decades without diplomatic relations, this visit to Washington is so instrumental. And if you could explain a little bit more of the change that this government represents for the relationship with Washington, but also the importance of Bolivia for the United States. The President's national security strategy came out last week, talked about critical supply chains. Bolivia, of course, preeminent in its lithium reserves, but not just lithium, a number of other critical minerals.
Exactly. We are very aware about the relevance that Bolivia has for these energetic transitions, the critical minerals, and our geopolitical situation made us a really key actor in South America, and from all these new global trends in terms of clean energies and innovations in technology. So we need first to resolve our short-term problems, of course, because this government has won an election and has now the opportunity to transform the society and a country that has been isolated ideologically, practically to the rest of the world. So we are very, very clear on the necessity of putting value all that Bolivia represents for the world in terms of this new context of technologies and environmental pressures and social and political fragmentation. Because it's not just a matter of Bolivia for Bolivians, it is a matter of the geopolitical transformation of South America. So in those terms, we are clear about the agenda that we need to face in the short term to create a medium-term transformation in our country. And we need allies like U.S., of course.
Mr., can you explain a little bit further for our viewers what specifically you hope to come out of the relationship with how the U.S. can be best supportive of Bolivia at this really critical stage? You know, just over a month into the new government, you inherited a country with severe economic mismanagement. what is the optimal type of support the U.S. is providing for Bolivia at this moment?
What we need is, of course, to be part of this new global scenario in terms of investors that give us once again their confidence in terms of landing in Bolivia in some strategic sectors like critical minerals, but also tourism, but also transferring technologies to increase the effectiveness of our health sector. For example, those are some ideas, of course. On the short term, we need the support of international organizations and countries like US, for example, to support us on this challenge of economic stabilization. This is not a secret. We need some credits and loans and to send the correct messages in terms that Bolivia is doing their best. In the short term, we just have 1 month in the government. We need that kind of support, not just statements, we need actions. But of course, we will show that we are decided to take hard decisions and actions. And I am not talking in the next year or in 2 years, no, immediately. But we need responses. Of course, we're going to do this ourselves, with or without help. Yeah. But will be better if we receive the support of some key allies, international organizations, governments. So multilateralism and bilateralism and minilateralism will be relevant for us in terms of be able to create all the conditions that we need to be successful in the short term with this transformation in Bolivia, because I just want to emphasize this. We are trying to finish with a narco state that has been the last 20 years the main characteristics for a country that has been isolated for the rest of the world.
Mr. Last question for you. Broader than the United States, I want to pick up on your last point about Bolivia's isolation over the last couple decades. What does the new Bolivia look like insofar as its role, not just in Latin America, but in a broader global stage as well?
We're talking about a Bolivia that is not blocking the rest of the region. A Bolivia that is trustable. A Bolivia that represents values of democracy. A Bolivia that respects laws. A Bolivia that is working for their people, not lying their people, not betraying their people. A Bolivia that is increasing the welfare for all the population, not only for a small one group that are corrupt, that works under the protection of countries that do not pursue the interests of Bolivians, and to be safe for the world, and to represent value for the rest of the world, not to block ideological, sociality, or economically the region. We want to be that kind of ally, that kind of society, that kind of country that contributes to a new global transformation based on values, but represented what we're supposed to represent always, the interests of our population. Bolivians are first.
Mr. Aramayo, thank you so much for coming by the Atlantic Council today as part of your first trip here to Washington, D.C. It's been a pleasure to have this conversation today and to do so just now 1 month after assuming the position. Wish you much success as part of this trip and as part of all the endeavors of President Paz in charting this new course for Bolivia. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Jason. It's a pleasure to be here in the Atlantic Council, and I'm going to wait for you in Bolivia because you don't need visa anymore to visit us as a tourist. So please visit us. It will be a pleasure to give you the welcome, and we will be there with our arms open to receive you. Thanks so much.
My first trip to Bolivia was about 30 years ago. It's a beautiful, beautiful country. And to all of our viewers, thank you so much for tuning in and to watching this latest episode of Experts of the Americas with the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Bolivia, Fernando Aramayo.